Hi, welcome back with me Best 50 Ideas channel. This time, I'll give you video about most romantic states in the US. Okay, let's go to the video.
Number 50. Alabama. Poor Alabama. We promise, we think you're romantic. It's just that, when compared to the other 49 states, it didn't fare too well. It seems that what really hurt Alabama, however, was its overall happiness ranking. Coming in at 44 overall for happiness, the state also ranked 49 for spending on romantic gestures such as flowers and romantic dinners. It seems that all that southern hospitality isn't charming enough. Number 49. Louisiana. Like Alabama, it seems that people just aren't too happy in Louisiana. They ranked 46th in terms of happiness. But, we will say that the people who are in relationships are pretty darn good at them. Despite coming in dead last in terms of the lowest percentage of married people, the state ranked almost in the top 10 in terms of being the most open to relationships. So, they're at least open to romance when it comes along. Number 48. West Virginia. For whatever reason, West Virginia came in dead last for happiness. As one of the states with the highest shares of adult depression and lowest rates of adequate sleep, it's easy to see why people here find it hard to focus on love. What was perhaps most revealing about the overall rankings, however, was that couples seem to rank low for spending on a romantic gesture like dinner, but extremely high for spending on flowers. Number 47. New Mexico. New Mexico ranked pretty averagely, making it one of the most romantic states in the US for lovers who are meh about the whole love thing. Whereas it sat around the middle in terms of spending on romantic gestures and relationship satisfaction, the state's happiness ranking hurt it overall. The Wallet Hub survey showed it ranked 46th for the highest divorce rate in the country. So, perhaps locals are too jaded for romance. Number 46. South Carolina. South Carolina is where things start to get interesting. In terms of the most romantic states in the US, it ranked around the middle in nearly every category, and especially high for spending on flowers. But, it seems that when it comes to relationship avoidance, locals here are all about it. Whether they're scared of commitment or simply feel anxious about dating, it's clear that romance is a little off-putting here. Number 45. Kentucky. Not even the Kentucky Derby and some world-famous bourbon could save Kentucky's ranking as one of the least romantic states in the US. People in Kentucky ranked near the bottom in terms of happiness and romantic gestures. One study suggested that they've got the lowest sports participation in the country, which means that perhaps they just need help getting some blood flowing to the brain in order to light the fire. Number 44. Mississippi. Sorry to have to tell you, but Mississippians ranked dead last in terms of rates of sex. It turns out, the state just isn't that thirsty. And, that could play a part in why they also ranked 44th for overall happiness. With the 47th highest divorce rate as well, it makes sense why there's no time for romance or intimacy here. It seems that locals are too busy rebounding from lost love to devote themselves to finding a new one. Number 43. Arkansas. It's hard to feel romantic if you're not happy, and that seems to be the case in Arkansas, which came in 49th for overall happiness. However, that's not all that's going on here. The state also ranked 45th in terms of most sex-crazed state. seeing as they also don't seem to spend much on romantic dinners or flowers compared to other states, it's easy to see why there's a lack of romance. Just invest in some flowers and a card already. Number 42. Texas. Despite the saying that everything's bigger in Texas, it appears that the state's emphasis on romance isn't. So, even though people here are fairly happy, what seemed to hurt their ranking was a lack of time to invest in relationships and romance. The Wallet Hub study showed that Texans work some of the longest work weeks. And it's pretty hard to plan a romantic evening when all you want to do is lounge around and watch Netflix after a stressful week. Number 41. Alaska. Alaska ranked 48th for both overall happiness and a general interest in sex. We get it, it's no fun to do pretty much anything in near sub-zero temperatures. And they also work the most hours of any other state in the country. Long work weeks, cold temperatures, and fewer daylight hours to head out and enjoy your partner seems like the perfect mixture for a pretty non-romantic state. We get it, Alaska. We totally get it. Number 40. Indiana. Indiana was one of the states that leveled out right around the middle for nearly every ranking. Couples will shell out just over $50 on a romantic dinner, and that's great seeing as nearly 50% of the entire population is married. What seemed to bring the romantic ranking down, however, was their super average score for sex. People are happy and overall content, but not super thirsty. Number 39. Oklahoma. Oklahoma's located right in the heart of the Great Plains, which means that despite being a bit of a recent hotspot for great foodie spots, there's not much to do there when compared to other parts of the country. Seems like they get pretty bored here, even with intimacy, which is why they ranked 46th in terms of interest in sex and 43rd overall for happiness. Why is the romance dead in Oklahoma? Maybe they're just too friendly. Number 38. Tennessee. Cities like Nashville and Memphis might be sexy, brimming with bright-eyed and starry-eyed young musicians and other creatives. However, sexy isn't the same as romantic, and that shows in the state's number 38 place on our list of the most romantic states in the US. To be honest, all of the studies showed that Tennessee is just pretty average. There's nothing wrong, and they rank normal across the board. Let's just say they're more prone to a laid-back kinda romantic, then. Number 37. South Dakota. People in South Dakota are actually pretty happy, and it's probably because they're the number one state in the country that gets the most sleep. We'd be happy, too. However, well-rested locals weren't enough to up the charm factor for this northern state. It didn't rank as that romantic. But it's because people don't seem to really put a lot of effort into romantic gestures. Buy some flowers and get that box of chocolates, they deserves it. Number 36. Rhode Island. Singles and loved-up couples ranked pretty high in terms of spending on their dates. Whether it was out to dinner, on some flowers, or even for a tasty box of chocolates, locals in Rhode Island sure know how to treat their lovers right. And all that schmoozing pays off. They're the number one sex-crazed state in the entire United States. However, romance is only about sex, and general anxiety towards deeper intimacy and long-term relationships hurt their overall ranking. Number 35. Maryland. Maryland's balance is totally off in terms of love and passion. They ranked in the top 10 in terms of overall happiness, and in the top 5 for the amount of money they drop on dates. However, when it came to an interest in sex, there was practically none. With a number 42 spot in terms of intimacy, it seems they've got to work on finding the balance somewhere between a romantic dinner and doing the deed. It'd help their romance ranking for sure. Number 34. New York. New Yorkers are the second highest spending group of locals in terms of treating their dates to something special. That's pretty romantic, right? And, with all of those sweeping skyline views and upstate country backroads, you can imagine the states just overflowing with charm and intrigue. Not so fast. Few married couples and a number 39 ranking in terms of suitability for actual relationships made the state drop to number 34 overall. Number 33. Ohio. So, when you think of Ohio, you don't automatically think sexy. But, as mentioned, romance doesn't always have to be sexy. Sometimes it's about quiet, charming towns and a simple desire to shower your partner with love and affection. And, Ohio's got that all. It's the number 6 sex-crazed state in the country. And, it seems like locals are pretty happy because of it. Go on with your bad self, Ohio. Number 32. Missouri. There, unfortunately, wasn't a lot to report back about Missouri. It ranked neither extremely high or low on anything particularly romantic. Despite the fact that it's one of the unhappier states, hello, spot number 41, it broke into the top 15 in terms of an interest in sex. Moderately content people who are also pretty thirsty. Sounds, kind of romantic, we guess. And, sure, Branson's one fantastic place to have a good time, but it's not necessarily the personification of romance. Number 31. Kansas. There's something going on in Kansas. It ranked near last, coming in at 48, in terms of our best for relationships ranking. This means that locals reported lots of anxiety and avoidance regarding relationships. However, it also ranked as the number 6 state in terms of the most married people per capita. So, nearly 53% of people here are married, yet they feel anxious about relationships? Something's not right, and that'll hurt a romance rating. Number 30. Georgia. Georgians have it all figured out, it seems. They're neither too romantic nor too thirsty. They've got that perfect balance of it all, including happiness and a general desire to please their partners. Go on a date with a Georgian and they'll drop an average of $51 on the dinner, plus an additional $28 on flowers. Sounds like the beginning of a very romantic evening to us. Add on some romantic cityscapes and charming rural towns, and the number 30 ranking makes perfect sense. Number 29. Nevada. Sin City's a breeding ground for lots of different kinds of fun. And, while there's lots more to Nevada than just Las Vegas, the neon lights of the big city helped ensure that the state snagged a number 13 spot for both happiness and sex. There's no doubt that residents here are having fun, but are they throwing in a healthy dose of romance, too? Not enough to propel them into the top 25, but just enough to make it all interesting. Number 28. North Dakota. Did you know that North Dakota is home to the nation's largest state-owned sheep research center? What? That's not romantic. Something's charming about the state for it to earn a number 28 spot. And, it's the fact that people here are pretty happily married, it seems. The state's got the second lowest divorce rate in the country, and there's a lot to respect about that. They've also got the highest income growth, so not only are couples here happy, but they're able to invest time and money back into their relationship. Number 27. Illinois. We know you don't have to be married to be indulging in over-the-top romantic gestures as you wine and dine the love of your life. But, the fact that Illinois ranked number 35 in the list of married populations seems to have hurt its overall romantic ranking. And, they ranked about smack dab in the middle in terms of sex. Weird, because Chicago's charming and pizza is always a fantastic way to lead into a great first date. Number 26. Connecticut. There's gotta be something alluring about the numerous nature trails, scenic parkways, and tiny towns in Connecticut. It's, well, romantic, at least that's what studies show, as it snuck into the number 26 spot on our list of the most romantic states in the US. People here are happy, they treat their partners well, and they're all about intimacy, but not in a way that's, you know, creepy. Add on the fact that the state's pretty safe and it's easy to see what's so charming about it all. Number 25. Florida. Despite being voted as the sexiest city in the world last year, Miami, and the state it's a part of didn't seem to be able to snag a top spot for romance. Sure, the Florida Keys are alluring, and there's something undeniably romantic about walking hand in hand with your partner along a white sandy beach. But, Floridians are only moderately happy and spend only moderately well when it's time to really woo their dates. Fewer married couples and a high overall sex drive, however, balance their ranking out. Number 24. Michigan. Michigan is surprisingly romantic. Lots of couples seem to honeymoon on Mackinac Island or even along the Gold Coast. And, love is certainly in the air here, as it's the third thirstiest state in the country. That's right, don't be shy about it, Michiganians. High interest in intimacy and a general penchant for treating their lovers right means Michigan is the 24th most romantic state in the US. Stunning scenery doesn't hurt either. Number 23. California. Big cities, bright lights, national parks, and lots of young hearts. What's not romantic about California and its numerous different landscapes to explore? Good question. It ranked super high in nearly every category. It was number 4 in terms of happiness and number 3 in terms of dropping those dollars on dates. So, what's the deal with just a number 23 ranking as one of the most romantic states in the US? People here aren't that interested in sex. And, that's a key part of romance, folks. Number 22. Wyoming. Wyoming is another one of those states that seems to have just found its balance in the romance department. They're modest about spending on dates because, you know, nobody likes it when somebody's too flashy. They're not too thirsty, and they're the number 3 state in terms of married population. So, it seems that people here have romanced their lovers to the point of marriage and are pretty happy about it. Number 21. North Carolina. North Carolina is a state that sneaked its way to the top. A moderate amount of married locals, an average interest in intimacy, and a decent attitude towards relationships mean that people here are romantic but not over the top. What earned the state its number 21 spot? It's gotta be the stunning scenery, the endless options for romantic weekend getaways, and the never-ending southern charm of the locals. Number 20. Oregon. Admit it, there's something pretty romantic about the dense forests and dramatic beaches you'll find peppered all over Oregon. Whether you're in Portland or out exploring the rich scenery, the landscapes here are cozy and charming, and couples seem to think so, too. It's perhaps what leads to the fact that the state ranked number 18 in terms of intimacy, and number 6 overall for healthy attitudes towards relationships. We'd be feeling pretty in love too, if we got to stare at this all day. Number 19. Arizona. Despite ranking right around the middle when it came to spending big money on their dates, Arizona's overall ranking was propelled by the fact that they've got really great attitudes towards relationships. Sure, they might not go overboard on a fancy dinner, but they'll absolutely spend time getting to know you and taking the relationship slow. And that's way more romantic anyway. A healthy sex drive ensures they know how to keep the romance alive, too. Number 18. Virginia. It turns out, Virginia truly is for lovers. They're doing everything right here. They're like the charming, respectful boyfriend you'd bring home to the fam. They ranked in the top 20 for nearly everything, which means locals here have figured out the magic mixture of charm, passion, and intrigue. The result? A state that's super romantic, interested in long-term relationships, and generally just overall pretty happy. Easily one of the most romantic states in the US. Number 17. Colorado. Colorado's got a pretty large married population, nearly 51% to be exact. With the second highest income growth in the country, they've also got the cash, it seems, to invest in their well-being. And that translates into high quality of happiness in self and relationships. What's more romantic than true happiness? The jaw-dropping Rocky Mountains and a population that's pretty interested in getting down, they almost broke into the top 10, helped the romance ranking a lot, too. Number 16. New Jersey. People from New Jersey seem pretty happy about treating their special someones with lots of love and care. Locals, in general, showed super high levels of happiness, and that seemed to seep into their personal lives as well. They'll shower their dates with candies, flowers, and gifts with ease. And while romance isn't all about gifts, when topped off with the fact that they've got healthy views about relationships, New Jersey is easily one of the most romantic states in the US. Number 15. Delaware. Sure, Delaware ranked in the top 20 in a lot of the categories. Locals here are great on dates, they're not afraid of emotional intimacy, and they've shown that they're no strangers to affection. And that's all a recipe for quite a romantic affair. But what really propelled them to the number 15 spot on our list of the most romantic states in the US was the fact that they're the 6th best state for relationships. Commitment is romantic, y'all. Number 14. Massachusetts. It's that Boston accent that makes your knees go weak, isn't it? What's more romantic than baseball, American history, and a date who knows how to treat you right? If you're from Massachusetts, probably not a lot. It's the 7th happiest state and the 5th thirstiest state in the country. Happy, friendly locals ensure there's lots of romance to be had during a visit here. Number 13. Pennsylvania. As home to Hershey Park, we've gotta say, Pennsylvania's ranking as the number 13 most romantic state in the US makes total sense. Chocolate is always a romantic gesture, and locals here know it. Each Valentine's Day, couples spend an average of $27.79 on candy and sweet treats. All that chocolate must be working, because Pennsylvania is the 7th most sex-crazed state as well. And locals are pretty interested in relationships. Number 12. Montana. Montana's got a lot of things going for it as one of the most romantic states in the US. While you won't find stunning cityscapes and passion-inducing beaches here, you will find lots of happily married locals who are still pretty interested in getting, intimate. The study showed that when it comes to sex, it ranks number 15. There's something romantic about happily married couples who are keeping the flame alive. Number 11. Hawaii. Hawaii is the happiest state in the US. And, with beaches like they've got, it's easy to see why. Exploring any one of the islands with bay is a romantic activity you won't be soon to forget. If you happen to cozy up with a local, know that they're the biggest spenders on special days like Valentine's Day. You mean, awe-inspiring cliffs, stunning tropical sunsets, and a quiet dinner for two on the beach? Yep, super romantic. Number 10. Nebraska. If there's one thing to be said about Nebraska, it's that it's stable. And, stable can be pretty romantic. Married couples reported pretty high levels of satisfaction, and the general population is pretty happy with their lives. Tons of quiet stretches of road to explore with your partner in tow, and a healthy attitude towards commitment are two things you can expect to find in Nebraska. Number 9. Maine. We're not quite sure what they're putting in the water here, but Maine ranked as the second most sex-crazed state in the country. From Portland to Bangor and all the way to Skowhegan, it seems that locals here know a thing or two about turning on the charm. The state's also pretty safe, making it the perfect paradise for loved-up couples and married duos to enjoy a romantic getaway for two. Number 8. Iowa. Some people say it's all about that southern charm, but one visit to Iowa and you'll see that Midwesterners are actually some of the nicest people in the country. And, nice is always romantic. People here really know how to treat someone they're seeing, whether it's with a great conversation or a nice dinner date. It's just proof that you don't need sexy beaches and high sky-rise dinners just to feel a romantic spark. Number 7. Idaho. Idaho's home to potatoes. Yeah, we know, it doesn't sound that romantic, but trust us on this one. The state's a pretty great place to fall in love. Case in point, it's home to the second largest married population in the country. Happy locals who are friendly and open to finding love make Idaho easily one of the most romantic states in the US. Plus, if you love adventure, then there are lots of wide-open places to explore with bay. Number 6. New Hampshire. As the third thirstiest state in the country, New Hampshire seems to have struck a delicate balance between passion, intimacy, and a genuine interest in developing strong, long-term relationships. It's the perfect blend of everything you need for romance to begin budding. Locals here reported a pretty low-stress attitude towards developing relationships and a high interest in spoiling their partners on dates. Number 5. Wisconsin. Like chocolate, cheese is pretty romantic too, especially when paired with a fine glass of wine. However, there's a lot more to Wisconsin than cheese. This Midwestern state is home to some pretty open-minded residents. There's a healthy attitude towards intimacy here, both in the sexual and emotional senses. happily married couples and a great cheese and wine scene. Sounds like one of the most romantic states in the US to us. Number 4. Washington. Alluring mountain views, enchanting forests, and a great local culture in Seattle all helped propel Washington to the number 4 spot on our list of the most romantic states in the US. But it also performed well in studies pretty much across the board. Locals love sex, intimacy, and treating their partners with lots of love and affection. Number 3. Vermont. Visit Vermont in the fall and you'll undoubtedly understand what's so romantic about this state. Absolutely breathtaking natural landscapes, peppered by sugar maples and tranquil lakes, makes Vermont a fantastic place to explore with a loved one. And that's got locals feeling pretty pumped. The state took the number 8 spot for an interest in sex, with people reporting a pretty open attitude towards intimacy in general. Number 2. Utah. Fantastic hiking and some of the best ski resorts in the country make Utah a very romantic state for people who find adrenaline-inducing activities particularly interesting. However, there's more to Utah's romance factor than just extreme sports. It's also got the second lowest divorce rate in the country. Ranked as number 3 for openness to relationships, there's something romantic about the level of commitment here. Number 1. Minnesota. The most romantic state in the US. Minnesota. As we said, it's all about that Midwestern charm, apparently. Minnesota is home to everything you need to spark romance, a fantastic foodie scene, charming cities to visit and lots of natural spaces to get lost in. Studies showed that it's also the safest state in the country, making it a fantastic place to get to know someone and enjoy all that there is to explore, especially each other.
Well, thanks for watching my video about most romantic states in the US. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for